Octagon sells us a simple story. Two fighters, one winner, glory distilled to its purest form. But beyond the steel and sweat lies another arena. Quiet, gilded, and carefully hidden. It begins where the broadcast ends. In garages with climate control and secret lifts. On runways veiled by tinted SUV convoys. In boardrooms that never appear on a fight card. Here, fortunes move without applause. Hypercars materialize without public records. Jets lift into the darkness carrying champions, managers and strangers who never appear on any official manifest. If victory writes the headlines, what writes the checks behind them? And who signs in invisible ink? The Octagon of Fortune. The UFC's modern empire is a symphony of spectacle. Pay-per-views that shake arenas, international cards that light up time zones like a sequencer, and broadcast deals that funnel millions into an ecosystem built on combat. From that pipeline flows a private economy, locker room bonuses, discretionary back-end payouts, appearance fees, and endorsement streams that multiply after one spectacular knockout. Yet the math is not what fans imagine. A handful of names sit atop the pyramid, while a wide base fights for win/show money that scarcely survives taxes, camps, and medical costs. In this split reality, extravagance is either a well-lit stage or a tempting mirage. Which stars are spending tomorrow's money today, and which are quietly investing in assets no camera crew will ever see. Supercars in the shadows. In the public theater, cars are trophies. Conor McGregor has posed beside Rolls-Royces and Lamborghinis. Other contenders parade Aventadors, GT2 RS, and wide-body exotics with exhaust notes that sound like war drums. But the genuinely interesting collections seldom touch Instagram. Certain hypercars appear through shelled LLCs, rotate between private museums and bonded warehouses, and travel on enclosed carriers at night. Titles are held by trusts. Van histories pass through dealer demos, and museum use-only designations. Some vehicles sit on foreign plates, registered to offshore companies that provide privacy. And sometimes a labyrinth. Were they acquired through sponsorship inventory? Quiet swaps? A gift bundled with an appearance. The cars gleam, but the paper trails glimmer even brighter in the dark. Jets as flying fortresses. Private aviation is the unofficial passport of the UFC elite. Gulfstreams and Bombardiers become offices at altitude. Deals drafted at 41,000 feet. Recovery plans scripted between ice baths and altitude masks. Entourage dynamics negotiated over midnight catering. The organization's power brokers have traveled in aircraft that resemble airborne boardrooms. Champions charter short-noticed hops to Dubai, Dublin, Abu Dhabi, or Monaco with the sort of discretion that only a sealed door can guarantee. What begins as convenience often evolves into choreography. Land where cameras are scarce. Meet where contracts are flexible. Depart before questions congeal. When the stairs retract and the door seals, the story belongs solely to those buckled in. Dark money, silent partners. An empire this large attracts capital with many accents. Venture funds, international promoters, casino magnates, crypto consortiums, nutrition brands born yesterday and valued like Silicon Valley unicorns. Each promises rocket fuel. Some deliver, some evaporate. Others linger in rumor, with whispers of silent partners who prefer fighters' garages to board meetings. Cars acquired by a sponsor that quietly dissolves a year later. Appearance fees wired from a holding company in a jurisdiction the average accountant must map twice. A jet block time agreement struck through a third-party broker whose corporate address leads to an empty suite. Are these simply sophisticated privacy structures, or veils for deals no one is meant to decode? The price of glory. Every shining asset has a shadow of upkeep. Hypercar insurance rivals a contender's training camp. Jet hours burn like dry tinder. Crew, maintenance, positioning legs, hangar fees. Even fractional ownership can become a golden handcuff. Minimum hours, peak day premiums, blackout calendars that clash with fight weeks. For fighters climbing the rankings, one injury can detonate a carefully stacked budget. For champions, a single loss can cool endorsements overnight. So why do some double down on lifestyle at the exact moment risk spikes? Is the garage a hedge against time, or an altar to it? The fighters who fell. The cautionary ledger is long. Legends who built empires on charisma and violence later discovered that empires demand relentless maintenance. Business ventures ballooned, then burst. Restaurants opened, then quietly closed. Gyms multiplied, then thinned to a single location with the lights low at noon. Some icons have spoken frankly about cash burn, about deals they didn't understand until the bill arrived, about friends who became accountants and accountants who became ghosts. A supercar sold off-market at a whisper price. A jet share transferred temporarily and never reclaimed. Not every fall is public. Some are merely silent. Whispers of dark deals. This is the corridor where rumor meets probability. A champion arrives in Monaco for recovery, photographed beside a gaming tycoon who prefers cash to contracts. A contender's car appears in a private auction catalog and then vanishes before the sale. An energy drink sponsor launches with fanfare, signs 3 prospects, then dissolves with the site shuttered and the last invoices unpaid. There are tales, told off the record, of back-end bonuses exchanged in hotel suites, of appearance fees traded for silence, of a short-term loan settled with a track-only hypercar that never appears on a DMV screen. Nothing proven, everything plausible. If a story can't be verified, does it still shape a career? Watch the choices. They often confess what the contracts won't. The mirage of power. Control is the rarest luxury. The optics of dominance. 10-car garages, jet stairways, tailored crews create a portrait of sovereignty, yet many are still tethered to promotional calendars, to clauses that outlive belts, to managers who negotiated the last 5 signatures and therefore hold the next 5 meetings. The mirage is persuasive. Pose beside the machine and look invincible. But the instrument panel tells a different story. Who pays the hanger when an injury extends? Who covers the insurance when a sponsor restructures? When the lights cool and the crowd goes home, power becomes a ledger, not a caption. Crypto kings, energy drinks, and vanishing sponsors. The last 5 years minted a new patron class: crypto exchanges, NFT platforms, and performance elixirs that promised to rewrite biology. Fighters wore the logos, rang the bells, and watched valuations swell like tidal water. Some deals were masterstrokes, others turned to vapor overnight. A stablecoin partnered DPEGs. A bonus paid in tokens loses half its value before it hits cold storage. A beverage company signs half a division, then vanishes, leaving only crates of unsold product and a fleet contract that nobody wants to inherit. For a select few, the volatility became opportunity. Buy low, sell loud, move on. For others, it etched caution into the balance sheet. How many supercars in private collections are, in truth, artifacts of markets that no longer exist? Handlers, Mendez, and the cost of silence. Powerful lives attract professional problem solvers. Fixers who book the jet, pre-clear the customs, negotiate the delivery that arrives at midnight and leaves no footprint by dawn. With them come NDAs, non-disclosure architectures that convert chaos into quiet. A sparring partner signs, a chauffeur signs, a house manager signs. Silence becomes a budget line. Yet silence has gravity. Entire weeks slip off the public record. A car appears in photos, then never again. A jet tail number changes hands, then reappears with a new livery and an old crew. When every crisis is absorbed by paperwork, what happens to accountability? When the signature becomes the story, where does the fighter end and the apparatus begin? The cage tests courage. The world beyond it tests judgment. Between those two trials stretches a runway where wealth, secrecy, ambition, and danger accelerate side by side. Hidden cars purr in temperature-controlled dark. Jets rise on moonlit schedules no arrival board will ever list. Deals hum where microphones are forbidden. So, the next time a champion steps into the spotlight, consider the unseen choreography, the assets that never post, the partners who never tag, the clauses that steer destinies without throwing a punch. Some riches are earned blow by blow. Others are engineered in silence. If this dive into the UFC's shadow economy gripped you, like the video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Which chapter should we interrogate next? The offshore garages, the jet brokers, or the sponsor ghosts? Your curiosity decides where we land.